Welcome to Internet Quality Academy. The channel is for the quality control engineer, site engineer, and the civil engineer who are working in the construction field. In this channel, we are dealing with anything and everything which is required to get success in the construction. Today also, I am going to discuss about a very important topics for the quality control, that is 7QC tools. What is 7QC tools? Why it is important, and how we can use this in our project to eliminate the defects and or redefine the process. So stay tuned until then to get the full information about the 7QC tools. And if you are new on my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. So without wasting time, let's jump into the subject about the 7QC tools. Now, first is, what is 7QC tools? Okay, so 7QC tools or the quality control tools are the fundamental techniques used for problem solving and process improvement in the quality management. Now, quality management, what is saying? That is the end product is either a product or a service. So here is a input and output is the end product. Now, process in between input or output, it should be redefined, or it should be as much as so that the end product can be exceed the requirement or can be as per the requirement of the client. So this process, whatever the process we are developing for the manufacturing or for the product or the services, there may be some defects. So for defect identification and the solving for the defects is 7QC tools. Now, suppose we are doing the concrete. Now, there is a crack is developing. Now, how this crack is developing and what is the root cause, that is to be identified and that is to be addressed to get the right kind of concrete. Now, how we can find it? There are these tools can be used to find out the why this cracks is happen, and then we can process that will be the adjustment. So that is why the 7QC tools, they are widely used in manufacturing, service industries, and various engineering fields, including civil engineering, to ensuring product and process quality. So this is one thing, that only the whatever the product or the services we are preparing or we are developing, it is ensuring the quality. So in the process, if there is any deviation, anything problem, we need to address and we need to find out the solution. The 7QC tools is the fundamental things to identify that one. So that is the 7QC tools. Now, what are the 7QC tools that we need to know? That is cause and effect diagram, that is called the Fishbone or Ishikawa diagram, then check sheets, control chart, histograms, Pareto chart or the Pareto principles, that is 80-20 rules, or scattered diagrams or the flow chart or the process flow diagram. So these are the fundamental 7 tools that are widely used in the industry to find out what is the defect and what is the root cause and what is the remedial effect, to redefine the process so that the end product can be as per the requirement or it can exceed the client expectation. So these are the 7 tools we are using. Now, we need to know why these 7 tools to be used. That is, what is the benefit of using the 7QC tools. Now, first things already discussed, that is problem identification. So these 7 tools, if we are using, then it is helps in identifying and analyzing problems systematically. So that is are helping us to find out the root cause and what is the problem and what is the remedial effect we can use for this one. Suppose that already given the example, crack is coming in the concrete. Maybe it's the curing issue, maybe it's the manpower issue, maybe it's the vibration issue, whatever it can be. There is a settlement issue. There are a lot of reason can be find out why this crack is coming. Now, how to approach that one? We need to collect data. We need to further think about the environment. We need to think about the pouring time, pouring sequence. These all the data we need to collect in order to find out what is the root cause. We need to find out how much training is there, how much competence the worker is there. So all are the point to be find out in the 7QC tool to find out that problem. Then the root cause analysis. In this chart, we can use the root cause analysis, find out the what is the underlying cause and what is the remedy. Just as the doctors, they're doing the different tests to find out what is the main reason for our illness, and they are giving the medical treatment according to that. Same way, these 7QC tools find out the underlying and the main cause of the defect, or the services are facing problem, and accordingly we the engineer, we have to find out the solution. Then it is a data driven decision making. See, in the quality control, we cannot rely on any opinion. See, opinion can be somebody's, that it can be for the synchrage crack, that can structural crack, or somebody can say that it's a settlement crack. It's fine, it's their opinion. But 7QC tools or the quality control is believing on the data. If there is no data, the opinion doesn't matter, it is not accepted. So the 7QC tools is always a data driven decision making, which is the quality management principle as per ISO 9001. Provides a structured approach to data collection and analysis. See, if there is no data in my hand, I cannot analyze and I cannot find out the root cause. Say, just give the example I have given, that is the cracks in the concrete. If I don't have the adequate amount of data in my hand, I cannot find out why the crack is happening. That is why these 7QC tools have that analysis approach, or that they're collecting the data and then analyze and find out the root cause. So that is also the data driven decision making. Then improvement of process. It is always improving the process, because whenever we are detecting any defect, we are redefine the process, and we are analyzing that one and what is the deficiency, and that deficiency we are incorporate into the process. So that is improve the process. So facilities continuous improvement by highlighting areas of inefficiency. Then enhanced communication. See, visual tools that improve communication with the team. So if I am saying there is a crack, there is a settlement crack, so that will not that much of appealing. But if I show my team that there is a graphical representation, these are the time, these are the people are working, this much of time has taken the concrete, this much time has do the curing, after 24 hours or 48 hours we have do the deshuttering. So this much of data if we produce, there will be a proper communication to the team. Then standardization, so encourage the use of standardized methods for quality control. So it also emphasize us to and use the standardized method of quality control. Then cost reduction. Now, if I found the crack and I do not find out the root cause, what will happen? These cracks will reappear on the concrete. So that will be the repair cost, money, time, and the reputation of the company will be in the problem. So that cost reduction also, these benefits of 7QC tool, that it helps to identifying and eliminating the waste, reducing the cost. So that is the point of the benefits of the 7QC tool. Now I am giving just one example for the all 7QC tools, but it is a huge subject. I cannot cover in a single video. In the next series of video, one by one, I will discuss about each and every tool with a brief explanation. But for today's video, I'm just giving one simple example to understand what is the uses of and how we can use the different checklists or QC principle, that is a checklist, control chart, everything. But that is a huge subject I cannot cover in this video, but I'm sure I'm next video or in the series of video, each and every one I will discuss in details. So first, in cause and effect diagrams. Cause and effect diagrams, that is a fishbone or Ishikawa diagram. Here is the fish, the main bone is this the effect. What is the effect? And these bones are for the problem and the solution. So what is that? Visual tools used to identify, explore, and display the possible causes of a specific problem. It organizes potential causes into categories such as material, method, machines, people's, environment, and management. So these are the main bones, and these are the what is my problem, and these are the sub bones, and these are the branches bone, and these are the method, material, manpower, environment, and what is their possible impact on that, and accordingly we'll find out what is the main cause. So in a construction project experiencing delays, now in a project it can be delayed, but what is the delay, what is the reason for the delay, we need to find out that one. So a fishbone diagram might reveal the poor communication, inadequate planning, and material shortage are the root cause. So here is the main is the delay, and here is the poor communications, inadequate planning, material shortage, manpower shortage. So each and every branches is representing one cause and their possible solution we can find out. So these are in just short is the cosmic diagram or the fishbone diagram, but I will make a more detailed video on that. Then check sheet. What is a check sheet? A check structured from used to collect and analyze data. It is useful for gathering data on the frequency of patterns or specific problems. So whenever there is a problem, we need to gather data. But how we can gather data? There should be a check sheet. The curing is done, vibrator has used, the people are competent enough, they are trained. So these are all the data we need to collect to identify the problem. Now a check sheet might be used on a construction site to record the occurrence of defects or concrete pours over a week, helping to identify the most common issues. So as I've discussed that maybe there is a concrete issue that we are not getting the right surface, we are getting the cracks. No, we need to collect the data in the check sheet, that who was the machine, what is the time of pouring concrete, what is the distance that travel the concrete from the RMC to the site, what is the curing method, what is the deshattering time, what is the environmental temperature. That all it needs to collect in the check sheet, tick, 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 in day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. Maybe we'll find out that day 7, we are getting the more cracks. And day 7, why it is making the crack? Maybe we'll find out the environmental condition is the windy, and there is a temperature was high, so that is why we are getting the more cracks. So in this way we can find out in the check sheet, we can collect the data, and we can analyze the data, and we can find out the root cause. The next is the control chart. What is control chart? Control chart is a graph used to study how a process changes over time. It helps in monitoring process stability and identifying any variation that might indicate a problem. So different over a time we need to collect the data in a control chart, and we need to analyze that data, that identifying any variation. Maybe for first week, second week, third week we are doing concrete and we are collecting that data. So maybe first week we are getting the strength for M40 in between for M40 grade of concrete 45 to 50. In the second we are getting for 40 to 45. In the third week we are getting maybe 50. So why this difference is there? That we need to find out the reasons. And an example also, in a concrete production plant, a control chart could track the compressive strength of concrete batches over time, helping to detect any inconsistency. So as I give the example, so why there is a difference? Whenever we are making control chart, there is we are find there is a difference in compressive strength. So what is the reason? Then again we go have to check sheet, we have to get to root cause analysis, we can find out the root cause, and we can find out the reason behind that. So in this way control chart help us to find out the underlying cause, and we can mitigate the defects. Then histogram, a bar chart representing the frequency distribution of data. It shows the distribution of process variation and helps in understanding the pattern of data. How histogram could be used to display the distribution of curing times of our concrete samples, revealing whether the process is considered if there are outliers. So what is that? We can collect the data, curing times and sampling time in order to find out if there is an inadequate curing or not, in order to get the right kind of concrete strength. So that is why the histogram is also important. Now the Pareto chart. Pareto chart is basically the 80-20 principle. It is not only in the quality principle. This one tools, that is a Pareto chart or the 80-20 principle, it is immaterial of the construction, immaterial of the any projects. It is valid for each and every area of your life or our life. So these tools is not only for the quality control, but this tool is for the life. And I'm really, really big fan of this Pareto chart, and I'm using everywhere in my life this Pareto chart. So what is Pareto charts? A bar graphs that represent the most common causes of a problem in descending order, it follows the Pareto principle, which suggests that 80% of problems are often caused by the 20% of the issues. So whatever the problem we are facing, that is for the reason for the 20%, and other 80% reason is representing the 20% cause effect. So what is that? On a construction site, a Pareto chart might shows that the majority of quality issues come from just a few sources, such as poor material quality or inadequate worker training. Now I am giving an example. Suppose we are getting cracks in the concrete. Now what is happening? We need to check one by one what is the pressure. So problem one is the crack. Problem two, we need to know the competence of the worker, whether they are trained. Then we can find out the environmental data. Then we can find out the concrete temperature, whether the concrete curing time, deshattering time. Now if we one by one list it out, we will see that the cracks is what is main reason for the cracks. We'll find out maybe the worker are incompetent and they are not trained. So the 80% is problem is coming that the people who are working on that project, they are not competent enough to do the concrete. That is why you need to find out that this training frequency has to increase. So this Pareto chart is very much essential, and always use that one, this Pareto chart, and it has gives the exact reason that 80% of the problem caused by the 20% reason, and 20% of the problem is caused by the 80% reason. So we need to find out that 80% causes, and if we attack on that 20% causes, the remaining part will be in take care. So these are the Pareto chart. That's another QC tools, and another is scatter diagrams, a graph that shows the relationships between two variables. It is useful to identifying the correlation of patterns between factors. A scatter diagrams could be used for the explore the relationship between the water cement ratio and the strength of the concrete, helping to optimize the mix design. Now, why it is important? Because in water cement ratio, whenever it is increased, the strength decrease, or whenever it is decrease, the strength increase. Now how the relation? So whenever we are doing mix design, we need to collect data that for WC ratio of 0.35, we are getting this much of strength. 0.34, we are getting this much of strength. 0.36, we are getting this much of strength. So this scatter diagram is help you to find out the optimize the maximum design, that which make water cement ratio we are getting the maximum strength. So that we want to use. So that is why this scatter diagram is also important in the quality control. Then flow chart or the process flow diagram, we are using widely this flow chart to identifying when which problem stage or which area we need to improve. So a diagram that represent steps in process. So suppose we are doing the inspection request. So what is the process of inspection request? First, the worker or the engineer has to do the work. Then engineer has to check, and if it is satisfied, then they will issue to the internal quality team that my work is ready. Then internal quality team will check, and if the internal quality team is also said the okay, then it has to raise to the concerned authority, maybe the consultant, maybe the project management consultant, or the client, and then they will come and they will check, and if there is okay, they will say go ahead and proceed. Now this whole process, if we are getting delayed in the inspection, or we are getting the more rejection in the inspection, so we need to find out in which stage we are defined. So maybe we are delaying in the work, or maybe the internal quality team has given the more number of rejection than the client. That means the engineer is not working properly. Suppose, and then we find out the engineer is giving the right kind of training to the worker, so they are not competent or enough. In order to get that one, maybe we need the more competent, or the drawing is not circulated properly, or the method statement was not circulated properly. So this flow chart is given the in which stage and why this delay or the problem is occurring. So a flowchart might be used to map out the steps involved in a construction inspection process, identifying areas where delays or error might occur. So as I given the example, this the flowchart is very much important. So whenever you are as a quality control engineer, make every work in a flowchart or the flow process, then you can easily find out in which stage or the what is the error on that stage, so that you can easily find out the defect and you can redefine the process so that the end product will be as per the requirement, or it will exceed the client requirements. So these are about the 7 QC tools. So what I discuss what is 7 QC tools, what are the 7 QC tools, benefit of 7 QC tool, and explanation and example of 7 QC tools in brief. So I hope you find it useful, and if you find it useful, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. And if you want to know anything about quality control and construction, please let me know. I will come with more content like this. And thank you once again for watching me.